we spoke about last time. He made him swear, right? We got to that. We got to the point. He makes him swear. You're going to go. You're going to get the young lady, and I don't want you to take from the Canaanites. I want you to take from my family. Rivka's ultimately his family. The commentaries explain the different. They were all idol worshippers. They were all idol worshippers. Laban was. You see that when he arrives there, Laban clears it out. So commentators explain that there's a difference between. I don't know exactly where the line is. That means that there's something inherent in their character. In Avram's family, although they were idol worshippers, there was a problem in their beliefs, but the character was a certain type of character, and that can't be changed. That can't be changed. Belief, teach them, educate them, and the belief can be changed. An inherent character where they're kind people or they're good people or they have good character traits, that can't be changed. So he says like this, I want you to go and take a wife for my son, and don't bring my son back there. So Eliezer goes, and Pasuk Yud Aleph. In Pasuk Yud Aleph, page 110, 5 lines from the bottom. Eliezer goes, and Vayavrech Hagmali Mechutz L'Ber Hamayim, he takes the camels, and he brings them out by the well. La'es Erev La'es Tseis HaSho'avos. He puts them there at the well, page 110, at the evening when the water drawers would come out. Now the commentaries point out over here that it's an interesting thing. You see, he's going to have to go to some family, and he's going to have to get them to give the daughter, and this daughter is then going to leave home and go off to live in Israel. So Eliezer has a concern over here. Why would a family want to let their girl go? So according to some of the commentaries, he's actually looking for a poor girl. I don't recommend it, but he's looking for a poor girl. Why? Because he figures a poor girl, the family figures, listen, anything's better when she's got here, so let her go. Who's going to go drawing water? Who's going to go drawing water? The rich people have servants. Rich people have servants. They're not going to be sending out their daughters to draw water. They have servants to draw the water. So he goes out specifically looking for the female water drawers, according to some, female water drawers who are from a poor family. That way it'll be if they have all the other necessary criteria, so then they'll be easier, more readily willing to part with their daughter and let her go with Eliezer to Eretz Yisrael. So then he goes like this, Vayomar. Now you'll notice over the word Vayomar there's a certain, the note for the laning is what we call a shalshelis. You know, how do you read that? You know how you read that? Vayomar. Right, so according to some, you know, even the trup, even the note, the notes over the letters have a meaning. They didn't get there accidentally. It's all Torah Shabbat Peh. So according to some, I get there 1 second, Harry. According to some, the Vayomar means, Vayomar was imagine a person praying. Person's davening. So he's davening to Hashem right now. So there are two ways. According to some, he's yelling. Hashem! Right? It's a lot, you know, you yell, or it's a pleading. Whatever it is, it's an indication of tefillah, because that's what he's coming up to. So some people daven loud, and some people daven quietly. I don't know if you've ever been by the Karliner Hasidim. You ever been by the Karliner Hasidim? The Karliner Hasidim yell when they daven. They yell. The Karliner Hasidim, there's a famous Reb Meir Shapiro, the Daf Yomi Reb Meir Shapiro. You've heard of Reb Meir Shapiro, right? So his Rebbe was the short cover Rebbe. Short cover Rebbe was a very wise man. It was Reb Meir Shapiro's Rebbe. So there was a Karliner Chassid was once traveling and he came to the town of Charkov. So he comes to the Rebbe. He arrives in town. He's there on business. So he says to Rebbe, I'm going to be in your shtibel on Shabbos. I'm a Karliner Chassid. Is it okay if I yell? The davening. So the Rebbe says to him, no, you may not yell. Yelling is not davening, and therefore you may not yell. Okay. Friday night he comes to shul. He's on his best behavior. Does it hard, but he restrains himself. Shabbos day, he's davening, he's restraining himself, and finally, he's saying Psukei de Zimra, and also he gets to Nishmas Kol Chai, he goes, Nishmas Kol Chai, and he looks around, he has embarrassed, so everybody's looking at him, okay. After davening, he comes over to the Rebbe, he says, Rebbe, please forgive me, I don't know what happened. I said, I'm sorry, I yelled. The Rebbe says, it's perfectly okay. David HaMelech in Tehillim uses 10 descriptions for prayer, and one of them is called tza'aka, yelling. It's a description of tefillah. Perfectly okay. The guy says, Rabbi, it's like, I don't understand. I asked you if I could yell, and you said no. Now I yelled, and you're telling me it's perfectly okay. He says, look, when a Jew comes to me on Tuesday and says, by the way, Friday night I'm going to be yelling, that's not davening, that's yelling. But when a Jew is actually davening, and he is spontaneously overtaken by feeling and connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and a yell comes out, a yell is emitted from him, that's davening, that's proper tefillah. Okay, so there is a concept. You're yelling, a person's yelling out because they're so over, sometimes you make the connection. So he says, please Hashem, provide a girl for me. Here, Eliezer had a daughter, and he wanted his daughter for Avram Avinu's son. And Avram Avinu says to him, sorry, you can't, that's not an option. And so it's like, you're almost like, oh boy, I wish I didn't have to be doing this. That's how I saw the Shalshal originally, that it's like he's wavering a little bit. I don't know how much I want to do this type of thing, because he's got a daughter also. Whatever it is, so he says his tefillah, and he says, please Hashem, Hakreina lefanai hayom, bring it about. Okay. And then he says what the test is going to be. 2 lines from the bottom. It says, V'hoya anara asher omar eleh hatina kadech ve'eshte. The girl who I say, please, tilt your jug and let me drink. Ve'omra, and she says, Shesei v'gam galech asher, drink and I'll also give your camels. Osa hochachta lavdecha li Yitzchak. That's the one that you have proven is for Yitzchak. 112 at the top line on 112. And then I will know that you have done kindness with my master, that you have made the shidduch. Okay? So his test is what? This is the test of the Jewish people. This is the ultimate test of the Jewish people. What's what Jewish wife meant to be? One quality. First quality. Kindness. Chesed. Jewish quality. But we're going to see that it's not only a test of chesed, there's going to be a test of character that accompanies it. There's a lot of different ways to do chesed. There's going to be a chesed, and there's chesed which includes a certain, what we call you have to have the touch. You have to have the touch. There are different degrees of, we call it, I guess, tact, and we'll see how she passes the test with flying colors. I remember a woman calling me up and telling me she was checking out a shidduch for her daughter. So she calls me up about a certain young man, pretty a brilliant guy. So she finishes asking about him. I said, you want to tell me about your daughter? She says, oh, she's very smart. She has 3 degrees. So I cut her off and I said, listen, I'm sure she'll be able to overcome her challenge. It's everybody has challenges in life. She goes, what? I said, listen, if a girl's real smart, that's not a great thing in a marriage. Husbands are intimidated, 3 degrees and she's smart. I don't know, she'll have to learn how to control. She goes, no, she's a very nice girl. She's a very nice girl. We're not impressed. It doesn't say anywhere Rivka had a degree. You don't have to have a degree. Turned out the guy's smarter than her. But they ended up getting married. But you want to be smart. I would much rather have a girl who's got common sense and does chesed than a girl who's got a degree, unless she's making a lot of money with it. But if she's got the degrees, we're not impressed by a PhD. We're not impressed by doctorates. We're not impressed by anything. As a matter of fact, I knew a couple was moving to Israel. So they had called, somebody gave them our number. They called our number about, how to get adjusted and where to register their kids. They're moving to our neighborhood. So the family so the day that they came, my wife cooked a meal for them, and she put up a welcome sign, so when they come in, they should put food in their refrigerator, she stocked the house. Okay, so the woman comes in, and after about a week, she calls my wife, she wants to meet my wife, okay, so she comes over, my wife went there, I don't remember what it was, they're sitting and talking. This woman's a high-powered executive. She travels here, meets with these people. And my wife is looking at her. Wow, my wife's from Columbus. That's already a strike. And she's talking to her. Wow, it's a big leaguer over here. And my wife is saying, wow, I could never do that. It's one of the meetings. And the woman looks at her and she just goes, yeah, and I can't cook meals for people. So, what's the priority in Judaism? There's a priority. We're not impressed. We're not impressed by titles. We're not impressed by doctor, professor. We're not impressed. We're impressed by Mrs. That's the most impressive title a woman could ever get is Mrs. She wants to be a doctor afterwards. That's fine. But Mrs. is much more important. And Rebbitzin is good. But Mrs. is, that's the ultimate, and a Mrs. who's doing chesed. That's what we're looking for. So now look what happens. Vahiyu teram kilo the daber. He had barely finished speaking. Second line from the top. Vine Rivka yotzes asher yulda levasul ben milkei shesdochar Avram v'kadal shiva. Rivka comes out and she's carrying her jug. Chazal say it's the only time she ever went out to the well. This is the daughter. Her father is the king of the town. Her father is the king of the area. Basuel. He's the king of the region. And his daughter is he's got plenty of servants. And on this one occasion, she happened to go out because, you had to have the shidduch. You have to meet Yitzchak's wife. V'anara tovas maramoch is very good looking. Besula v'ishlo yada. No man had been involved with her. V'atereda aina v'tamali kada v'atol. She goes down and she fills up her jug. So now here comes the test. Now pay attention. It's a very subtle test every single step of the way here. Every single step. Vayorat se'eved likrasa. He goes running towards her. That's part of the test. How is a girl, according to one opinion, she's 3 years old? Okay, in those days, 3 years old wasn't like, if they could live to 175, it's also beyond and that says openly in the Torah, they were living much longer, so they also matured much earlier. Whatever it is, she's a little girl though. She's a nara. She's a young girl. Whatever her age is, she's a young girl. A strange man comes running at her. That's the first test. How do you react? Well, what's it? Very poised. No, doesn't panic. Very important to have a wife that doesn't panic. Especially when there's a mouse in the house, right? Very, very panicked, right? Vayorat se'eved comes running towards her. A strange man comes running towards her. Vayomer hagmini namat mayim mikedech. Please give me a little bit of water from your jug. Vatomer, she says, shisei adonai, drink. That means first thing before anything, I'm going to take care of it. Drink. No hesitation. You need water, I'm going to give you to drink. Then, that's the tact. She takes down the jug and gives it a drink. Before any hesitation, I'm going to give you to drink. So you should know that that's taken care of. Then she takes it off and she gives him to drink. She finishes giving him to drink. I will also draw for your camels until they finish drinking. You know how much camels drink, gentlemen? 10 camels who have just come from a long journey. And camels have an incredible capacity to drink. I saw one of the commentators says each camel needed 10 jugs full. I mean, she's got to go down and come up and down and come up. That's going to be 100 times now. 10 per camel, fill it up, fill up the jug, pour it into the trough, fill it up, pour it up, 100 times. Okay? But, turn back for it. Keep your finger on the place. Look at what he requested. Second 2 lines on the bottom on page 110. He said, when she responds, drink and I'll also give your camels to drink. All he needed her to say. What does she say? She says drink. She gives him to drink. And only after he finishes drinking, she says, I'm going to give your camels to drink till they're finished. So the commentator says, why'd she break it up? She didn't say, I'll give you to drink, and I'll give the camels to drink. She said, drink. I'll give you to drink. He drinks. After he finishes drinking, she says, okay, I'm going to give your camels to drink until they're finished drinking. He doesn't have to feel that he's being rushed. Well, drink, and I'll give your camels, just limit it, because, I don't feel like schlepping down to the well again. So now he's limited in how much he drinks, number one. Number two, she doesn't want to announce in life. Originally, he said, can I have to drink? Yes, I'll give you the drink. Why is she saying it? She's saying it so he should know he's going to get the drink. That's the chesed. Now I'll give you the drink. If she would have said, and I'll give your camels to drink, then she's announcing what she intends to do. Remember we spoke last time? Let your actions do the talking. Why are you talking about what you're going to be doing? Don't talk about it. When you get to that point, then you can say it. Number three, what happens if a guy knocks on your door? Guy knocks on your door, he shows up with his dog. And you say, hey, come in, I'll give you and the dog something to eat. What did you just do? You put him and the dog in the same category. Right? So you say, okay, I'll give you and the camel something to drink. Right? You understand there's a certain tactlessness. You and the camels are basically the same. Right? She says, here, I'll give you to drink. He finishes drinking, and then she says, I'll give your camels to drink. Okay? Now, there's an interesting, you see how, and this is all in one. You're talking about a little girl in one moment, and it's instantaneous. There's certain things in life you can't teach somebody. Either you got it or you don't. Either you got it. Paul McCartney can't read music. Do you know that? Paul McCartney never learned how to read music. You've heard of Paul McCartney, gentlemen, I'm assuming I'm not the only one who's, right? Why? What does that mean? Because, if he would read music, it would ruin everything. He's got it so naturally. They talk about baseball players. The guy's in a slump. Why is he in a slump? He's thinking too much at the plate. Don't think. Just go. If you got something naturally, You ruin it by thinking about it. You ruin what you're doing by thinking about it. You've got it naturally. Some people have natural tact. It can't be learned. You either got it or you don't. You could try to improve, but the person who's just instinctively, and the Israeli guy, a friend of mine, Israeli guy was in the Israeli army. So he was talking about the Israeli Air Force. The Israeli Air Force, these guys are flying F-16s. They're flying the most sophisticated fighter aircraft. And they're testing these guys all. They have to have certain reactions and certain instincts. So he told me like a guy will walk in, they're constantly testing these pilots. So for example, they'll take a guy and they walk over to one of the guys and say, the commander wants to see you in his office. So the guy walks into the office, and the commander says, he walks in, the commander says, you forgot to close the door. If the guy turns around to check, he's not going to be a pilot in the Israeli Air Force. You can't have a guy flying a plane who doesn't remember if he closed the door or not. Right? If he says, sir, I closed the door, you're also not in the Air Force. That's not how you talk to a commander. There's only one correct answer. The correct answer is, sir, I closed the door, but if you want me to go back and check it, I will. That's the only correct answer. That's only an example of one little test. It's not like something, you said the wrong thing. Test me again, I'll study. Next time I'll do better. You've shown that you're not qualified. You understand? Okay, so when it comes to doing this also, there's certain people who simply always know the right thing to say at the right time, put everybody at ease. You could improve, but there's some people who have it, she's got it now. Why else does she say? Listen carefully. There's a Gemara that says, Rav Nachman and Rav Yitzchak sat down at a meal. And so Rav Nachman said to Rav Yitzchak at the meal, say over something, say over some Torah. So Rabbi Yitzchak said to Rav Nachman, Ein mesichin b'su'uda. You don't talk at a meal. Why not? Shemayaktim kodan leveshet. Maybe the food will go down the trachea instead of the esophagus, a person will choke. While you talk, the epiglottis, the thin layer that covers the trachea, opens up from the airflow. And if you talk while you're eating, so it could go down the wrong pipe. Okay, so he doesn't talk. After the meal, the Gemara says, page 112, Yom. After the meal, the Gemara says, Rav Yitzchak said to Rav Nachman, Advar Torah. What's his Dvar Torah? Yaakov Avinu never died. That's his Dvar Torah. So Rav Nachman said, what do you mean never died? The Torah says they embalmed him, they eulogized. What do you mean he never died? So now he said, listen, there's a drasha based on drasha. We give him a whole proof for it. Okay, whatever that means. So one of the commentaries, the Ben Yehoyada, the Ben Ish Chai, he asked, why was that the Dvar Torah he told him after the meal? Why was that the Dvar Torah? Why, of all Dvar Torahs after the meal, he says, Yaakov Avinu never died. Why did he tell him that? So he wanted to emphasize a point. When Rav Nachman asked to hear something, what did Rabbi Yitzchak say? Ein mesichin b'suda. Don't talk at the meal because it's a danger. So we understand, who's it a danger for? Who's it a danger for? The guy who's talking. Rav Yitzchak wanted to show him it's not just a danger for a guy who's talking, it's a danger for the listeners also. Why? How does he prove it? He tells them something outrageous at the end of the meal. And he says, Yaakov Avinu never died. So what's Rav Nachman's? What do you mean he never died? Well, what if you would have had food in your mouth at that moment? I say something outrageous, you tell a joke at the table. Somebody says something ridiculous, and you just go, you're chewing away home. Next thing you know, you're in trouble, right? So the commentators say, that's why Rivka waited over here. Eliezer's drinking. Torah says she waited until he finished drinking. And then she says, I'll give you camels to drink too. Why? Because if he's drinking and all of a sudden she's worried, here the girl says, and I'll give your camels to drink till they finish drinking. And he's like, I can't believe it. And he drowns. And he starts choking on the water. Right? At that point, Rivka says, okay, yeah, that's why she waits. He finished drinking, put down the jug, says, now I'm going to give your camels to drink as well. Okay? So she what do you call it? And he's very, very impressed. Take a look at Pasuk Chaf Aleph. Chav base 6 lines to the bottom. Vayihi kasher kilu hagmalin lishtos, when the camels finish drinking. Vayikach ha'ish nezem zohav beka mishkolos, let's talk about nose ring. Ushteit semidim al yodeha, and 2 bracelets, asora zov mishkolam, which represent the luchos, 10 commandments. Asora zov. So she's got beautiful gold bracelets, and she's got some sort of nose ring. Then he says to her, he's so sure that God has fulfilled his agency. Then he says to her, "Vayomer bas miyad hagidi nali hayesh beis avich makom lalit." Who are you? Who's your father? Is there a place for us to rest? Vatomer elav bas besul anochi ben milka asher yolda nachar. Bullseye. I'm the daughter of Basul. I'm right from Avram Avinu's family. Okay? And I got plenty of place for you to come in, for you and everybody else. Now, enter one of my favorite characters in the Torah, the man that I always made the closest association with on a personal level, Lavan. Lavan is the ultimate swindler, con man, cheater in the Torah. When I played Monopoly with my brother, I was always the banker, right? And I felt that as banker, I'm entitled to quarterly bonuses. And there were always accusations of financial misappropriations, right? Otherwise known as cheating. And I'd be lying if I'd say it wasn't so, right? So Lavan, he's just so good. He is just, first of all, take a look. So Vatarat Zanara, the 3 lines at the top. Vatarat Zanara v'tagela ve'sima, she runs to her mother, kedvar ma'ela. And then on Pasuk 29, here we go. Ularivka och ushmo Lavan. Rivka is about a brother, Lavan, and he's a shmo, right? Ularivka och ushmo Lavan. You got a brother, his name is Lavan, right? Vayaratz Lavan alisha chutza la'ayit. He goes running out. Why is he running out? Well, Rashi says, he sees his sister come in. She's got all sorts of bling, and he sees gold bracelets and a nose ring, and he says, "What's that?" Oh, a man outside giving out gold. It's like the candy man in shul. You ever see the kids in shul? A young kid walks in with something, all they get, "Where'd you get that?" Next thing you know, there's a barrage. The candy man in shul, So Lavan. Listen, now, first of all, you notice his name is Lavan. What is white always a symbol of? Purity. I mean, here's the guy who's a crumb, a charlatan, a sneak, a cheat. Every adjective, his name is Lavan. Okay? He's dressed in white. That's all part of the charade. And I guarantee if Lavan was here today, if Lavan would walk in, I'm telling you, you'd be eaten out of his hands. You'd be convinced the guy's as good as pure as could be. At a deeper level, the reason he's called Lavan, white means, if you take a white piece of paper, that means all possibilities are there. Something that's got a picture, so the picture's already a completed picture. There's nothing more you can do with it, or very little bit more. A white sheet or a white piece of paper, a white canvas, means all possibilities are open. That's his personality. He said sometimes a business deal. When you go into this business deal, no matter what you say, the other guy's looking, no matter what you say, I maintain all possibilities are open. You said yes, and I said yes, there could still be no. Right? There's no limit. White symbolizes the fact that it's all possible. That's what a real charlatan is. That's what a real cheat is. A sneak is that no matter what we agreed on, all possibilities are open. I have a couple of friends of mine were playing Risk. Some guys were playing Risk, and 2 guys made a treaty, right? Because they were attacking the 3rd guy. And all of a sudden, one of the guys, Reuven and Shimon, made a treaty, and then all of a sudden, Shimon starts attacking Reuven. He broke the treaty. He says, "Hey, we made a treaty." He said to him, "Yeah, World War II started with a broken treaty. Now throw the dice." There you go. It's a broken. Lavan means, okay, so I said it. So what? So I said it. But and the whole thing is everything is available, everything is open. He can't be trusted. Okay, now he goes right now. Pay attention very carefully, gentlemen. Pay attention very carefully to the psukim, the way the psukim play out here. So Rivka comes home. She got a brother named Lavan. Vayoratz Lavan ela isha chutza ela ayit. He goes running out. Why is he running out? He's running out because he saw the gold, right? On her feet. He's already running. Now look at the next pasuk. Vayehi kiroses hanezem v'esatzvidim, when he saw the nose ring and the bracelets, ayideachos, on his sister's hands. Ukishamo es divrei Rivka achosa lemor, when he hears what she said, kodiber elaish, this is what the man said. Vayavo elaish, he comes to the man, v'nei omed al g'mal mayim, the man is standing by the camels by the well. Anything bother you about that, gentlemen? Nothing bother you about that? What bothers you, Daniel?
First, ran out before knowing.
Oh, so Rashi says he ran out because he saw it, right? But in the Torah itself, it says he ran out, and only then he saw it. Number one. Number two, it says he ran, and then in the next pasuk it says Vayovo el ha'ish. He came over to the man. He came over. Why doesn't it say Vayoratz el ha'ish? He ran over to the man, right? So the way Rashi understands it is it's just telling you he ran, he saw it, and what was it that he saw? It's just telling you afterwards, the way it's saying he ran, he saw it. Why did he run? Because he saw the gold on his sister's hand. Okay, so it tells you in a later part. That's Rashi's approach. Okay, other commentaries say like this. First reaction when you see the gold, go running. All of a sudden, the next pasuk is Vayikir os, when he saw the nose ring and the bracelets. In other words, in his mind's eye, he focuses on what's at stake here. Oh, 1 second. My sister's got gold and bracelets. So in life, everybody knows you want to cut it. But whatever is going to happen here, don't look too eager. So suddenly he slows down. Vayovo el ha'ish. He comes over to the man slowly. Doesn't running to the man. Vihine. The word vihine always indicates some sort of surprise, something unexpected. So he comes over to the man. Vihine, he's pretending, hey, there's a man standing by the camels. He sidles up to him as if he's completely surprised to see him there. Because he understands that he can't tip his hand. He better show that he's not eager, otherwise you're at a disadvantaged position in any business deal. Okay? So he says, come on into the house. And by the way, I just want to show you, there's an Or HaChaim. You ever heard of the Or HaChaim? The Or HaChaim HaKadosh. You've heard of the Or HaChaim, right? So the Or HaChaim asks the following question. When it introduces Lavan the first time, look at the wording. It says, U'lerivka ach u'shmo Lavan. 4 lines from the top. U'lerivka ach u'shmo Lavan. The Gemara says, whenever a tzaddik is introduced, it says his name second. It says, and his name is Lavan. When it's a Rasha, it says the name first. There's a man named Naval. Naval Shmo. Naval was a man who wouldn't help David HaMelech out. Naval Shmo. It says the name, then it says his name. Naval was his name. Now, if you were introducing Lavan, how would you introduce Lavan? You say his name was Lavan, which is used for tzaddikim. It says Ushmo Boaz. Boaz. That's how Boaz is introduced. And his name was Boaz. Or would you say Boaz was his name? You follow the rule. So when it introduces Lavan, how should it introduce him? It should actually say Lavan Shmo. Why does it say Ushmo Lavan, which is a form that you use when describing tzaddikim? What's the Or HaChaim answer question? You heard a problem. So the Or HaChaim says, because at this moment he was engaged in an act of righteousness. He's a no good. He's no good according to one opinion. He's Bilam. He's the ultimate in bad. He's Voldemort, right? But he's the ultimate. But right now he was engaged in an act of tzidkus, an act of righteousness. You know what it was? His sister comes home. Now this is Rivka. The Torah emphasizes no man was involved with her. We're talking about a community. We're talking about the most immoral. And people who are engaged is steeped in immorality. Yet, there's a girl, Rivka, beautiful girl, no man was involved with her. Why? For one thing, certain people project a certain aura. And there's certain people, that one, leave her out of it. She's too pure. So Lavan's got a sister. His sister comes in and says, hey, there's a man at the well, he's hitting on me. That's how Lavan hears it. It's not what Rivka meant, that's how Lavan hears it. It's a strange man talking to my sister. The Or HaChaim says he was running out to kill Eliezer at this point for immoral behavior. At that point, it's an act of tzidkus. Therefore, ushmo Lavan. Because right now he's engaged in an act, he's standing up for his sister's virtue. So he goes running out. Then his true colors come out, and he becomes a swindler and a con man, and we'll see later on he's involved with Yaakov Avinu. Okay, so they bring him into the house, and Eliezer starts telling the story about how he's sent here, and Avram has a son, and he's got a lot of money, and everything else. And he wants to introduce the Shidduch. Now, take a look later on He tells over the whole story, and he says how she came out. Starts relating the whole conversation that he had when Avraham Avinu commissioned him to go find Now, when Avraham Avinu commissioned him originally, Eliezer said, "Ulai, perhaps the girl won't want to come home with me. Then what do I do?" Now Avraham said, "Okay, then you're absolved of the oath." Okay. So over here it says, "Va'omer ala Adoni, I said to my master, Ulai lo selecha isha acharai. Perhaps the woman won't want to go back with me." So Rashi says over here, take a look at the top line of Rashi, right column. Ulai lo selecha isha, says Rashi, Elai. Normally in Hebrew, if you wrote the word ulai, how would you spell it? Aleph, vav, lamed, yud. Right, there'd be a vav there. You'll notice that over here the vav is missing. Ulai, which could then be read as Elai, which would mean what? To me. To me. So Rashi says, it doesn't say Ulai, it says Elai. Bas haisalol Eliezer. Eliezer had a daughter. V'hayim mechazer limtzo ila. He was looking for a reason. Sheyomer lo Avram lifnos elav l'asiyah bito. He was looking for a reason when he said, maybe she won't come with me. He was hoping Avram would say, okay, if she doesn't, then I'll take your daughter. Amar lo Avram, b'ni baruch v'ata oru ve'in oru medavi b'baruch. My son's blessed, you're cursed because you're a Canaanite. The Canaanites are cursed by Noach. That isn't a shidduch. That's never going to happen. All right, so he takes Eliezer out of the running. The question the commentaries ask is, why does Rashi say that here? Why does it only appear over here? Earlier, when he said to Avram Avinu, he said Ulai. It says Aleph Vav Lamed Yud, the regular way of Ulai. Here it says Ulai without the Vav, where Eliezer realizes, where Eliezer sees, oh, Ulai is really Eli, and when he said it, he was really hoping that Avram Avinu would take his daughter. But if that's true, I mean, it is true, so why didn't Rashi just say that earlier? Why didn't the Torah write it earlier without a Vav, to let us know that Eliezer had a daughter? Why is it only when he's relating the story to Rivka's parents that the Torah says, oh, by the way, you know what was going through Eliezer's mind? That he had a daughter. You hear the question. Why does the Torah only say it here? So the commentators explain, you see, in life, you may have a personal bias. And either you don't realize it or you're not willing to admit it to yourself. The first time Eliezer said, well, maybe she won't come home with me. Right? I have a daughter. I don't know if I'm thinking about my daughter or not thinking about my daughter. When is he willing to admit to himself of the realization of what his real personal bias is? The game's over now. Game's over. He met Rivka already. He knows this is the one. So he's only relating the story. When you're relating the story, he says, oh yeah, you know what, I actually wanted Yitzhak for my daughter. At that point, you're more willing to confront it, realize it. Well, you don't even realize, sometimes in life you don't even realize your biases while you're involved. I'm no longer involved. Now I could step back and take an objective look, and I could even see where I fit into the picture. And so he says, I tells over the story, and they say to him, take her, they'll what do you call it? It's a beautiful shidduch. And then at the last minute, they say, you know what, let's ask the girl. So take a look at the next page. And he brings out gifts for everybody. And then it says like this. Page 118, Pasuk Nun Zayin, right in the middle of the page. Vayomru, they say the following. Nikra lenara, let's call the young lady, Vinishala espia. And let's ask her, what do the words Vinishala espia literally translate to? Daniel, what does Vinishala espia literally translate to? Let us ask her mouth, right? Now, okay, it's a turn of phrase, where you could say, Nishala espia, we'll ask your mouth. Meaning, let's ask you. But it could just as easily have said, how would you say it in regular Hebrew? Call the girl Vinishala, and we'll ask her. So why does Eliezer say, why do they say Vinishala espia? They're the ones who say it. Let's call the girl, and we'll ask her mouth. It's a fancy way of saying it, but why do that? Why not just say, let's ask her? So those of you who are not married will learn very quickly when you are married that the fact that a woman says a yes doesn't mean yes, no doesn't mean no, maybe doesn't mean either. A little bit could mean a lot may mean a little bit. She spent a little bit of money means a fortune. There are different things that she says that none of them mean exactly what she's saying. So they, knowing how they would go about things, when you're a sneak, you assume everybody else is sneaky. So they say, okay, we'll ask the girl, but we'll ask the girl's mouth. In other words, we're going to say to Rivka, you want to go with this man or not? If she says yes, don't start telling us she meant no, and if she says no, don't mean yes. We're not saying no kvetchen mit the thumb over here. Whatever comes out of her mouth, that's our deal, and we're making that deal in advance. And say, well, she said no, but really she meant yes. She was just intimidated because you were standing here. Nothing. No, don't start darshaning and don't start giving out. We're making an agreement. Nishala espia. Let's ask. So they ask her, Vayikra l'Rivka, Vayamrei la, Haselchi ima shazah? You going to go with this man? Vatomer elech. I'll go. And Rashi says she meant, I'll go even if you say no. I'm going. I'm out of here. Okay? And the shidduch is made. So they send her off and they give her a bracha. Now, Yitzchak comes in, and then the Torah is going to teach you a lesson here, gentlemen, that you should never, ever forget. Take a look on page 120. It says they come in, and on page 120, 5 lines from the top. Vayisaper ha'eved liYitzchak es kol ha'dvarim asher asa. The servant comes in and he tells Yitzchak everything that he did. Vayivia Yitzchak ohela Sarah imo. Yitzchak brings her into the tent of Sarah, his mother. Vayikach es Rivka, and he takes Rivka. Vatehila leisha, she becomes his wife. Vayaveh, and he loves her. Vayinachem Yitzchak acharei imo, and he's comforted after his mother. So, Rashi says over here that when Sarah Imenu was alive, number 1, she lit the candles, they would burn all week. Number 2, the challah had a certain bracha in it. Number 3, there was one of the clouds of Shechina was over the tent. When Sarah died, all that left. All the bracha in the tent left. Rivka comes in, and everything comes back. Rivka replaces everything that Sarah Imenu had laid lost with Sarah Imenu. Rivka comes in, right? Okay, so now I want to ask you a question. Take a look at the wording of the pasuk. Vayivieha Yitzchak ohela Sarah imo. Now who's he talking about? Vayivieha, he brought her. Who's he talking about? Talking about Rivka, right? He brings her into the tent. Vayikach es Rivka vatila lisha. He takes, why does it say her name? He takes Rivka and she becomes his wife. Why did you say he took her and she became his wife? It's obviously not talking about Sarah Imenu. It's not talking about his mother. First of all, she's not alive anymore. Second of all, it's his mother. So who could it possibly be that he took as a wife? Vayavel, and he loves her. Why does it say Vayikach es Rivka? Why does it mention it? Why does it emphasize her name? We know who it is. That's what the whole story's been about, Rivka. And in context, it should say he brought her into the tent of his mother and he took Rivka as a wife. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Rivka. Why does it say he brought her into the tent and he took her as a wife? Why does it say So I think that the Torah is telling you a very important lesson. She comes into the tent, and all the brachas that when Sarah Imenu were there. It all comes back, and everybody, there's a lot of fuss. Wow, she's just like Sarah, she's just like Sarah, she's just like Sarah. Right? The Torah says, V'ikach es Rivka. She's her own person. She's Rivka, she's not Sarah. Don't make that mistake, husband. Right? You will. You're going to make this mistake, gentlemen. Your wife's going to make some challah, she makes some kugel. You say, my mother used to put raisins in. Well, I'm not your mother, right? And you'll get it at least once, maybe probably more. Oh yeah, they just love that. And like, well, I'm not your mother. My mother used to fold my shirts like that. Oh yeah. Oh well, that's just too bad. Now you're going to be folding them yourself, right? So they never make the comparison. Never mention your mother. She's not interested. She doesn't want to hear. Vayikach es Rivka. Sure, all the bracha came back, but this is and a lot of fuss over Sarah Imenu. But don't forget, this is Rivka. You know what else you're going to mess up on, gentlemen? I guarantee you this is going to happen. You just remember this smiling mug when it does, right? You're going to have an argument with your wife. Your wife's going to say something. You're going to say you're going to argue. And at some point, usually early on in marriage, like the first 30 or 40 years, at some point, your wife's going to say to you, you never agree with anything I say. And you're going to say to her, that's not true. And she's going to say to you, even now. Just remember the mug, gentlemen. See you tomorrow.